Today on Gamers Couch,
Agent Undercover or Spyfall. Depends where you are.
Hello, welcome
Hello.
to the couch. Happy Sunday. It's time for us to talk about a new board game. Well, new, depending, like different.
Hey,
Hey, dude. Who, me?
do you wanna go on a secret spy mission with me?
Depends.
Well, I have these cards. It tells us where we are, but if you're the spy, you don't.
Whatever. Don't
Do you know where you are right now?
on the couch.
Sarah. Mm-hmm. Do you also feel like clapping right now?
Kind of.
You're the spy? You need
No,
to...
I'm not. He always screws up my intro. Get used to it. If you're new to the
That's
channel,
our intro. The screwed up intro. That's the specialty.
Get used to it. Also get used to German lessons of the day. They might appear in a video
Like
there.
Agent and Undercover. That's the German name. Well, it doesn't make sense to me either. But...
Can I?
you were
still
talking about introductory mishaps and stuff.
You know, but just before we hit the record buttons on all of the devices that we need for shooting this video, he said, let's do it like the pros. And then he screws up my intro. So not being a pro at all. Let me get to it. My name is Sarah. I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten, owner of this channel and wife of this lovely creature here who always screws up my intro. This is Daniel. We are both board game nerds. We love to... Oh, I hate you.
So, we did that already, right?
Yeah. Get your act together.
Professional Sundays board gaming stuff.
You know, we're talking board games every Sunday. He has an excuse today of being that weird because he's trying to repair his computer currently. And, you know, when there's certain things not happening at all and you're getting like really agitated and angry, you might need to vent. But please don't vent on this couch. You can do that afterwards. That's totally fine. So, coming back to the important thing, meaning board games, we're... Oh, God, you're really bad.
Okay, now, please.
We're talking about a different kind of a game each Sunday. And today we decided to have Spyfall, or as it's called in German, Agent Undercover, on the couch, and he will tell you a bit about how the game plays and what rules come with the game. So now we look pretty. Prettiest girl alive! And then we talk about what we liked or not liked about the game and finishing with funny stories and experiences. Now, if you're interested only in a certain section of the video, check out the description box. There is a timestamp for each section. I hate you. I dearly love you, but I hate you for always distracting me like that. So just go and explain rules and gameplay because I need coffee.
Spyfall, or Agent Undercover as the Germans say, or Agent Undercover.
Unter der Decke. Undercover, no?
Wouldn't that be under sheets?
A cover sheet or a cover is also the Bettdecke, which is the blanket, the cover that you pull or whatever.
Anyway, this game might be the one, unless I keep on dragging this out any longer, having the record for shortest rule section on our channel so far. So how is it played? 3 or up to 8 other folks with you try to, well, tell each other or find out who the agent is amongst you. So the game starts with you randomly out of the box picking one of these packs of cards, and each pack always contains one spy card And that's the same card for every, pack that's in there. And it's always on top or always on the bottom. It doesn't really matter, but you need to know which of those cards is the spy card beforehand. So you draw one pile at random from the box and hand each player, you put out the spy card plus, one card for each player -1, because obviously you have the spy card. So you'll end up with the amount of cards per player, and one of those is guaranteed the spy card. And then you shuffle and deal out the cards. So each player has his card, looks at it, and will find out either you're a spy or you're the spy, because there's only one spy, or you'll find a card that will tell you something about the location you're at. In this case, it would have been the cruise ship. And as you can see, these are all cruise ship cards. They don't change. It's the same. And imagine that. All the same. It's all the cruise ship, unless you're the spy.
Checking if you had the spike.
Need to double check.
It's not that we have a screen down there where you can see.
The way this game is played is, once you looked at your card and you put it away, you get this. You also have this little nice reference card that tells you what are the locations in the game, and while this is more important for the spy, it's always also important for the other players. What you'll do now, you decide on a start player and start the time. You have 8 minutes to find out who the spy is, and the spy, conversely, has 8 minutes now time to find out where or what the location is. The game is played by the start player asking one other player some question. It should be related to the locations to find out, first of all, if the person you've asked knows what location you're at. And with the question itself, you might also give a hint that you know what the location is that you're at. So let's pretend Sarah and I are both on a cruise ship. Then I would say, Sarah, did you remember to bring your bathing clothes?
Yes.
Now, with that, I would have kind of indicated that I know where we're at, because I know it's probably a ship or it's a location where swimming is a thing. And Sarah kind of had now a 50-50 chance of correctly answering. It could have been that she's the spy and just on a whim just said yes. But it could also have been a trick question. If she would have said no, that would have made her very suspicious. Afterwards, it's her turn to ask another player a question. It must be a different player from the one that just asked her, so not me.
Psyduck, do you like it here?
Actually, there's a good question would have been, are you appropriately clothed for this location?
He currently is, yes.
But that is dangerous. And that's the reason why those reference cards are also quite useful, not only for the spy, but for someone else. Because there is a location on here that is called the pirate ship. So if you would have asked, are you appropriately clothed as a pirate, that might also have given you away as the spy, because you're probably not sure.
Or he's just in the animator kind of a crew that happens to be on cruise ships a lot.
It might be, but
So
you can see that some confusion is stemming up there. Now, at any point during those 8 minutes, anybody can say, hold the clock, and then, you may have a guess and a vote who the spy may be. So if I'm pretty certain that Sarah's the spy, I would say, hold the clock. Then you pause, and then I make my case. I think Sarah's the spy, because clearly she was thinking the first question might have been a guess, but the second question, the one she asked, clearly indicates that she doesn't know that we are on a cruise ship, but thinks that we are on a pirate ship. Then everybody either is for or against, unless you have a clear vote of, she might be the spy. That means everybody has to agree except for her, obviously. Then she would reveal her card, and if it turns out that she's the spy, we would have won. If we were wrong about that, then the spy automatically wins the game. There's one little twist, however. If we correctly guessed that she's the spy and she revealed that she still has a chance to guess at which location we're at. And if she is correct, then she wins the game anyway. On the same note, Sarah could have said, when she actually is the spy, hold the clock. Are we on the cruise ship? If she would say that, she would be correct and would have won the game immediately. Now, after 8 minutes have passed, you actually must make an accusation. So going with the start player all around, you all will have to vote or have to say who is the spy, and the one getting the most votes then is revealed. And if it's the spy, good luck. If not, tough luck. And that's the game.
It's awesomely fast, right? So let's hop into the likes and dislikes section. Do you want to keep going because it's so short and you're used to
we
talking?
have a kind of rhythm to this show. So
can we change up the rhythm for the next video? You not screwing up my intro would be cool. I put that to a vote. All of you, vote.
I'm such a creature of habits, so
yeah,
probably not.
Maybe one day. Not today. Stop slurping. You distort the mic. So, likes and dislikes, as I said. This is clearly a party game, so this might sound kind of rude or like snobby, but I don't request a party game to be as balanced or I don't request things from party games that I do request from other games. But this is a really cool one. It takes the spy theme that is very popular for whatever reasons lately, meaning the last 2 years games came out. So that was sweet, and it pretty well scales, which is always nice of a party game. It's not really cool with 3 players, but you could play it with 3. I think the sweet spot is 5 to 8 people, so that is a nice bunch of people coming together and playing. There's not very many games that I do like that are for that amount of people, so this really has a lovely spot in our shelves. Now, I do like the mechanic of the game a lot. It's really difficult to phrase questions and talk subtext only, and you really have to think. So it's way more.
You'd really struggle not to reveal the location, but make the question meaningful enough. Yeah.
Putting in a lot of subtext without spoiling where you are and giving the spy a chance is really difficult. On the other hand, it's goddamn difficult to be the spy and not being revealed and not, well, screwing up and having a chance, pretty much. So there's way more thought and involvement, and you gotta really listen to the other people. There's way more of that communication on the table. Again, subtext, it's way more interesting what is not said than what is said at the table. And I like it about that game. So it's a nice party game. Again, I don't expect too much of party games, but this is a very sophisticated one. And I like it way more than other party games that are out and about. The artwork is cute. It's super quickly to be explained and played. And you can pretty much stop whenever. So I really like that. One thing that I'm not too sure about saying that it is a party game, if you're in a very noisy environment, it might be really difficult to play this game. Like, when you really gotta listen to other people at the table, and that if it's loud, that's distracting. But you could played in a restaurant while you're waiting for your food to arrive with a big group. I mean, we do play at restaurants. That's what we do. So if you're out and about with grandma...
Little pro tip here. If you're playing this at a restaurant and want to find out if someone else is a spy, and you ask the question, is the food terrible here?
Don't say it when the waiter...
Yeah, don't say it if, like,
the waiter
personnel is around.
Yeah. No, but, I mean, that's a nice setting to actually play it with a larger group of people. I wouldn't say it's a party game where there's music at the party, where it's too noisy that you could play. But, yeah, I think that's that. How about you?
I agree mostly. I think that what you said, that it is borderline, almost, you really have to think, despite it being a party game. I also totally agree. It's for me, it is a party game, and it says starting 3 and up. Trust me, 5 and up minimum. Yeah. I would say don't try this with less than 5 folks. The more, the better in this case. For the very simple reason that the spy player has a lot more chance to gather some information before being pressed into asking a question. Obviously, this is random. If you're really unlucky, it could be technically that you're the first one to ask a question, although sometimes that could be good as well, because they're kind of off your track for some time, because they still need to hear the other people out. But it is really difficult in a 3-player game being the spy. I would go so far to say it's almost borderline impossible. Unless you really know how the game works, know the locations. That is actually another thing that, while it's cool that everybody has these small cards, a tip I like to give is, even if you're not the spy, look at these cards regularly, because sometimes you may ask a question, like the pirate ship question we just had, that might hint at another location and might make you suspectable as a spy, although you are not. It also serves as a little help for the spy, because he probably will look at this a lot. And if you are like studying this card all the time.
So what we do, we usually hold them like this in our hands and have the location card as well as the hint card. Just everybody looks like that. So it's not, well, it's not a giveaway like saying, oh, I'm the spy because I'm looking at my card and everybody else isn't.
It also helps to, if you think, or if you find that it's too difficult for the spies, all of these cards are pretty much identical. However, there's a little job description down here. You can play with those as well. You would then kind of agree that each player has to answer questions from the perspective or playing as the role of the character they got. So, for example, here we have a barkeeper, a tourist guide, a musician, or a passenger. And obviously, those would respond differently. A tourist guide maybe won't bring bathing clothes, so that... well, it changes things a little bit up and makes it more difficult for, I think, the non-spies in the game. That said, a thing I found unexpectedly difficult here, actually, I would go so far as to say this game is certainly not for every group, because some people are incredibly uncreative when it comes to asking those questions or responding to those questions, which makes it really difficult. So while I really enjoy playing this game and having a good laugh at even some of those hints are terrible or go the wrong way, or give you a clue where they shouldn't have, if you are playing with a group that is doing or having a really hard time coming up with questions or doing that, this can get really dragging on, getting slow, even though you are on an 8-minute timer. So I would say think about what are the folks you want to play this with, and then make your decision to pick this up. If you have a group of people who like to ask fun questions or have a good laugh about that and are kind of on the spot with responding to those things, and not like, let me think about what you just said. Maybe. I would say no, but then it's like, okay, you can do that 2 or 3 times, and then 8 minutes are gone, kind of. And you want to ask as many questions there as you want, or as you can, to actually
make it educated.
Actually, both parties are interested in asking as many questions for you to find out who the spy is, and to test him or her. And on the other hand, the spy also wants a lot of questions just to give him or her some pointers as to where you are. That said, it's great if you have that group, and I very much like that. The artwork is super funny. It has some very neutral, inspirational thing, like what could be on a ship. You could reference the iceberg or the little penguins on here, or the DiCaprio lookalike. And that's the other thing that's fun. There's always a spy in here that's just... it's just funny, goofy looking, and referencing either movies or games or other things, which is pretty cool. One thing that kind of comes with the game and is hard to avoid is there's some maintenance required, because you have to build those little card packs. You have to make sure they're all ordered in the correct thing, and the game also benefits a lot of playing this a couple of times in a row with the same crowd, just so that everybody gets a good feel for what are the locations that are available, and that not only speeds up the game but makes it a little bit more interesting, because then the questions are... people will pick up on questions from other people and use them against them, or just get a little bit more used to the entire idea of the game.
Yeah. So shall we rate?
Yes.
All right. So on Orc, did you hear that? 1, 2, 3.
So
mirrored. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 2.5.
I would say if I have to pick a party game, this is among the ones I would pick. But it's very dependent on the crowd that is there, and that kind of would decide if we would play this game or not. If the crowd is up for it, this is probably my first pick. Especially because it's not as aggressive as a game like, let's say, the Resistance Avalanche, something with a... While you might think it's similar to having a traitor with having the spy, it's not really the same thing. It's not. There's less hostility at the table playing this, which I very much appreciate.
Yeah. Same here.
And I'm the hostile guy playing the...
He's the major spy.
The traitors usually.
Yeah. So let's hop into the last section, funny stories and experiences. We did have a print and play before we bought this game last year at Essen, so we played it with a print and play.
This game took surprisingly long to come out here, and my understanding is it still is. Spyfall is out of print, I think, again, or it's really difficult to get again. I mean, the interesting part here is this is the German version, but it's also
Hungarian.
The Hungarian version, which that's an odd combination for some reason, but I don't know what's up with the print run there, especially because it's just cards. But
who knows? I don't know how.
Please don't blame us if you have trouble picking this up.
No, it could be some licensing issue that this paperwork just takes longer.
Yeah.
But we picked it up as print and play, and we did play that version a lot, and then once we got it in the real stylish kind of a version, we played it a bit more. So last time we played it, it was maybe our 6th or 7th game. The first time that this happened, I wasn't the spy. for the first time, and it felt so good not to be the spy for once. We played it with 3, 4, 5 people, and it's really, really difficult to have a chance as the spy with 3 people. So I speak from experience here. Don't play it with less than 5 players. And what I did not expect was if you play with people that you know pretty well but don't know by heart, like inside and out, it's really difficult sometimes to find out, is one of them the spy? We had that thing. We had
the film studio one.
No, we had the cruise ship one where I was.
That too.
The thing that I was talking about.
It turned out, even if you know people well, you're sometimes surprised what questions they associate with a given card, which you probably wouldn't.
We were on the cruise ship, and G was asking Styx, "Have we been here?" And I thought, wow, I was not the spy. So, and I thought, I don't know. So
that's a good question.
And I could not find out, is one of them the spy? Because I thought, well, I don't know if they've ever been on a cruise or something similar that they could associate with a cruise. And I thought, wow, this is really difficult now. Like, I don't know. It's like, oh fuck. It's like playing with somebody that you meet for the first time. I didn't expect that.
I mean, the game is pretty much all about coming up with clever questions and hopefully clever responses to those. Yes,
and now you can tell the film studio, because we will probably tease Tina for that for as long as she lives and we remember.
I don't even know what the response was, but it was so...
It was the needle in the haystack. Is there the needle with a haystack? And it was G asked something about sewing. Is there? Will you find a needle here? Something like that.
Yeah.
Or will you find thread?
And it's like, what? This does not. It has nothing to do with a film studio. But then it's like, yeah, but they're. If you look at this, it's like it's like a fantasy, like a fairy tale kind of setting. They're doing it.
And with this answer, she made herself be a suspect of being the spy, and which was super cool for me, because then everybody agreed and accused her as a spy, and me inside being because I was the spy and I had no clue where they were, and Tina took the fall for me. So thanks, Tina. I will remember this for a long time. You saved me there. You were my alibi. I don't know, helper kind of a thing. Person. So yeah, it might be surprising what people associate with certain things, and it might surprise you or drive you nuts. Whatever. But it's one of those games where it's really interesting to see how people associate things, what they it's like concept in this regard. It's really, or Dixit, it's really interesting to see how people associate, how they think, pretty much. So,
and this isn't if you're really bad with games where you have to lie to win.
This is difficult.
No, I was about to say this is actually the easier way, because you just have to say yes or no to most questions. And
G and Tina really had a hard time. You could really see it on their faces when they were the spies. It's like they picked up the card and you could pinpoint.
Yeah, but
it's really difficult if you can't
I think a game like Resistance is way more difficult because you have to tell a convincing story to someone else.
It's not actually
to defend your position.
Yeah, it's not actually that difficult to answer the question. The difficult thing then is to ask the question to somebody else. Then
Yeah, but that's not lying in that. Some people really have a difficult time lying, looking at someone straight in the face and lying. I mean, we talked about this about Sheriff of Nottingham, but
convincingly asking the question, saying, "I know where we are."
Yes,
this is the difficult thing there. If you are the spy, that's actually the hardest thing. It's not answering somebody's question.
So.
It's asking.
I would say if you play this could go over well if nobody knows anybody. So if you bring this out at a party just to get to know people, you certainly will get to know people, or at some point you will start to yell at people if they ask really irritating questions. Yeah. But I would say this is actually more interesting if at least some folks know each other at the table and you get to learn something about other players that way. Obviously, that's a very strong advantage for those people who know each other because, as you said, they can ask something, were we here before? And only they know, but...
Or not.
After that, you know. Yeah. And now you know.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk that they were on a cruise ship?
I don't know.
Me neither.
Oh well. That's, I think, the perfect time to wrap up this video.
Yep.
So let us know if you ever were on a cruise ship. If you... I'm sorry. I had to go for it. Let us know in the comment section below if you have any questions or other comments, like, for example, advising him to not always screw up the intro for me and distracting me like big time, or if you actually enjoy that and get a giggle out of it or something, let us know. Also, do the good YouTube stuff, and we'll see you next Sunday with a new game on the couch. And if you're interested in how board games relate to artwork, check out Draw for Initiative on Wednesday, 9 a.m. CET. The before named Tina and I do paint scenes from board games every week.
Give me a hint. I don't like to dance.
That was the terrible voice of...
That's your regular voice, but
I'm not on a testosterone therapy, so usually I have this voice. Like, not ba ba ba.
Yeah, that's your voice.
No, that's my Bonnie Tyler Tired in the Morning voice, or the voice playing a certain character.
So it's a game about dancing.
Dancing is involved.
Is it dancing with tears in my eyes?
Oh boy!
If I only could remember.
No. I'm not sure if I'm more irritated by him knowing that song and making a reference to it, or by him coming
it's
up with
all
that
been
reference.
Just a couple of lies.
Oh, I'm getting sick.
Well, you should have a drink. Maybe
yes, that will help.
Spirits, or we could play a game, but only for money because
yes, that helps a lot. So, did you figure it out already? If not, if
I'm still clueless, but let me ask the wench when she's finally coming over. I've been waiting here the entire time.
Oh, check out on Wednesday if you were right with your guess, or if you just want to learn what we hinted at. Until then, have a very good one. Bye.
Goodbye.